always see a microphone sign. You can switch it off so that it will be clearer sound for everyone to hear. So if you are not talking, you can switch off your microphone. You can take your, immediately see at the bottom, there is a microphone sign. You can mute it. Okay, so I can start now? Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. This is Enamul Haq. Let me introduce each one of us. I'm in Dhaka, and we have Ranju, who is doing his PhD in Australia. He is working on his thesis topic now in Dhaka. We will, that's one. Sarwar, who is in UK, he's working on his thesis. He's now back to UK for his work and will come back. Tawheed is now in Canada. He also was here but went back for consultation and will come back. So these are the three PhD scholars from Bangladesh. So these are all Bangladeshi origin. I will let everyone introduce each other just before, and then for Ranju, Sarwar, and Tawheed, we have with us Dr. Priya Samsundar. She was the former executive director of Sandy. Now she is the director policy, something like this, I guess. Okay, and she is here. We have Anuradha, who is one of the senior person, administrative person in our Sandy Secretariat, and with her we have Mani Nepal, senior environmental economist, and Dr. Somanathan, who is the new executive director, and also Rajesh, who is one of our economists there. So they are all in one line. And then we have Hemandas Lohanu, who is also an environmental economist at Sandy in Nepal. So may I now request Ranju to introduce yourself, and then we will go to Sarwar and Tawheed. Ranju.
Thanks. Thank you, Dr. Inam. Hi everyone, I am Ranju. Nice to talk to you. Hope everyone is fine. Thanks.
Yes, you can. So you can introduce a little bit of your academic background, Ranju. Also, what university? Yeah.
Actually, I'm studying in Charles Dartmouth University, Australia. I'm based in the Dissertation Institute for the Environment and Livelihoods. So actually, I started last year in 2014, and I just finished 1 year, almost 60 months. So now I'm in field work in Bangladesh. So throughout this year, actually, I will stay in Bangladesh to conduct my field study.
Thank you. Sarwar. Sarwar, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you introduce yourself?
Yes, Hi, I'm Sarwar Hussain. I'm final year PhD student in the Geography Department of the University of Southampton. I'm one of the class recipients of the PhD Dissertation Support Fund. I'm there for 2 weeks to consult with my supervisor, and we'll get back to Bangladesh again. And I'll be discussing more about my background and research interest in some of my slides. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Sarwar. Tawheed.
So thank you very much, Dr. Haq, for giving me this chance to introduce myself. I'm doing my PhD at the University. I have completed my undergraduate studies from the University of Scientific Technology. I'm currently enrolled in the Department of Natural Resource Science of that university, and I'm doing research in the supervision of crops technology. And I stayed in Bangladesh for 2 months in this year, but I'm going to go back to in September for my independent election. But I will do the detailed research and the interest also process presentation.
Thank you, Tawheed. Anu, maybe you can introduce the team. Anu?
I think I've already introduced us, no?
I think if anything other than that, we can start. You want no more introduction?
No more introduction. You can start.
Okay. Priya, just say hello maybe. You're there. I can hear the voice. And Hammond. No response.
So it's just,
Hello.
hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Who are you hearing? Can you hear me? Huh?
Yes, I can hear. I think everybody can hear.
Okay, all right, excellent. Just welcome and giving back to that is happening to understand a bit more about the community and scholarship.
Okay. Hammond.
Hello everyone. Great that we have this workshop. By the way, we had Sarva's presentation in the RMW.
Yeah.
And so it's good that everyone is present so that we get to know more about your study. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I think I will start with Sarwar first. This is my objective in this workshop. We have Dr. Somanathan, who is our new executive director, and also the rest of the Sandy crew, except Hammond and Mani. Nobody knew what you were doing. So my expectation from your presentation is that you present what you are doing, and you also let us know how the support from Sandy is helping, and what are the things you expect, and what are the output you would be producing out of that. So probably that's the brief. You have already sent the presentation. The way you will start your presentation is that once you start your presentation, you will use the share screen mode so that everybody can see that what you are presenting, and you can talk. I will start with Sarwar, but before that, let me also give you the timing of it. We have until 7 o'clock maximum Bangladesh time, which is about 1 hour 15 minutes from now. So nobody can go beyond 20 minutes. 15 minutes. Okay, so Sarwar, you can start.
First start the screen.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Anwar. Can everybody see my slide?
Not yet, not yet.
Not really. Where are we supposed to see?
No, you can see on your screen. Don't have to worry. But you have to share the screen first. Sarwar, you have to share the screen. Which is
Yeah, I have already.
okay. It's waiting. We are still waiting. I have not seen any changes. You have to. There is a start button also. After you should do the share screen.
Yes.
Yep, it's coming now.
Just let me know when you all can see my slides, then I will start.
Okay, it's on my screen already.
Okay. What about?
Why don't you start, because you also have it on PPTs, just go ahead and start.
Okay.
I have got this.
Okay, so let's start. Welcome everyone. I'm Samal Hussain. I'm going to talk about participatory modeling or conceptual system learning model of social ecological system in Bangladesh Delta. Well, next 20 minutes, I want to make it very simple in 3 tablet format, saying who I am, why I'm doing this, and what I'm going to do within this project. Secondly, I want to introduce myself, as I already said, I'm Dr. Researcher in the University of Southampton. I'm mainly funded by the and also University of Southampton. I have an interdisciplinary supervisory team within this department, within 3 departments, and which is led by Dr. John Jerry. Before moving to Southampton, I graduated from Wageningen University in the Netherlands in an MSc in Environmental Science. And I'm one of the first recipients of PhD dissertation support fund by Sandy. I'm an interdisciplinary researcher. I focus on ecosystem service, sustainability science, system handling modeling, and climate change. Then let's have a look why I'm doing this project. It's a little bit more about my background of PhD and how it's connected, and the contribution of the Sandy Fund towards my PhD. Well, my PhD title is safe operating space for development and ecosystem service in Bangladesh, which is basically based on a concept called safe operating space for humanity, given by Rockstock et al. In 2009. Well, it is one of the highly influential, already cited by more than 1,000 times, and it is very influential also in policy. To be very simple, I just want to introduce they try to identify the 9 planetary boundaries, the boundary for the 9 planetary process, namely climate change, ocean acidification, biodiversity, global freshwater. So these policies as a baseline marker to define that threshold point beyond which is dangerous to humanity. If you look on the diagram, there's a green circle. So if you are within that green circle, green zone, you are safe. For example, ocean acidification is within the green circle. That means that's not transgress the boundary of dangerous zone. But if you look on the climate change and biodiversity, it has crossed the green circle, which means it's already in the state of dangerous zones and not safe to humanity. Well, as I said, it's one of the very influential in academia and policy. Countries like Sweden and Switzerland already have adopted in their national level assessment. However, it has some limitations. For example, it does not include any social system, for example, poverty, equity, or any social justice, or any interactions with the social system, because we know there is a interactions or feedbacks between ecological system and social system. And also, it doesn't include the boundary interactions. For example, there's an interaction between climate change and land use change. So if there's more land use change, you are more contributing towards climate change. So this kind of boundary interactions is has not been included or considered in this concept. And also, it's the planetary scale, it's a global scale concept. So it's not in regional scale, because we are doing that. But most of the planetary boundary process, like land use change or global pressure, are aggregated from regional scale. So although there's some limitations, Oxfam communicates we try to improve literacy with introducing a donor concept, where she actually included that the social system in the center of the circle and 9 planetary boundaries on top of it. So still, those limitations like regional scale, aggregation problem, boundary interactions with social system has not been filled up yet, or still it has limitations to in terms of the research field. That's why I'm trying to fill this research gap within the southwest coastal region of Bangladesh, which is highly densely populated as one of the largest and unique mangrove forests. And also people in this region have engaged in fishery, agriculture, shrimp farming, but also it's one of the most vulnerable regions to climate change, including all other environmental threats like river erosion, flood, and cyclone. But also importantly, I'm working parallel to the ESPA, the project funded by ESPA, because my lead supervisor, Professor John Gehring, is an OPI of this project. So it's one of the reasons that I try to choose this highly complex system as one of my study area. Well, I try to focus this my objective by answering the following questions. For example, how the southwest coastal region has evolved over the past decades, and how the social ecological system has been interlinked in terms of ecosystem services and human well-being. And after that, we will any tipping points in the near future, or it will cross in safe operating space that we have introduced in the first slide for the Bangladesh Delta. Well, so far I have progressed quite well because I'm final year PhD student. I have published one paper in regional environmental change, which is my first research question of the whole ecological system of the 9 spreads of in Bangladesh Delta. In the next 2, like the trends of human well-being and the linkage between ecosystem service and human well-being is already in review. Then it comes about how my Sandy Fund, how the Sandy PhD dissertation fund is contributing my PhD. Well, while analyzing this secondary set of questions, ecosystem service and human well-being interlinkages, I have used the historical data using different forms of statistical methods, and I have a conceptual framework and a structure of the social system in Bangladesh Delta. Well, I want to put it in that I need this structure because I want to run simulations using a system dynamic model to see whether there are really tipping points or not. And in this system dynamic model, there is two approaches. One is validation of behavior of the model, where you usually run the simulation and compare with your historical data to see if your model is running properly or not. And also there is another one approach is structure validation. So validate the structure. That means you develop the model and you validate the model. Maybe stakeholder consultations or something like that. Because the validation of the model is quite cannot be done because I'm already using the historical data to estimate the relationship of my parameters. So, and also, it's really, and we argue that it's also really difficult to know the behavior of the social ecological system. So we're trying to actually validate the structure that we have already got it from the statistical analysis. So there's the conceptual structure that I have already will be validated or compared using the different stakeholder consultations. Vision map and then more comes about what I'm actually doing with these validations and how I'm utilizing these different and the Sandy PhD presentations of a fund. Because actually, I want to validate that conceptual structure, but I was struggling to find any proper fund for the fieldwork, and that's why it's very important that I document Sandy PhD presentations of a fund. Well, more about thinking what I'm actually doing within this project. I want to introduce the minimum ecosystem assessment framework. I'm sure that most of you have seen this framework before, because it's just simply saying how different ecosystem services is contributing to the improved development of human well-being and how it's interlinked with the different social economic factors. And basically, how different positions like food, freshwater, foods are contributing to security and basic materials for good of life. This is also a global scale framework. It has a special and central aspect. So I want to operationalize this framework into southwest coastal region of Bangladesh. And in this southwest, I want to narrow down socio-ecological terms, focusing agriculture, fishery, stream farming, and mangrove dependent people. Because around 40–50% households are engaged in these occupations. So I'll be focusing because I'm arguing that climate change or any other environmental stress will directly impact these all occupational people. And we are also, we mean the people like working in desk, in a teacher or a university or the different NGOs or in different companies. They are also directly and indirectly dependent on these whole operational people. So if we want to model the social impact because of the environmental stress, we need to model this whole operational people first. So within this project, the participatory modeling, I want to see how the different stakeholders see the structure of social ecological system. By the stakeholders, basically the farmers, fishermen, stream farmers, and the forest people. And also I'm talking to the different accommodations, like people working in different sectors, environment, disaster management, agriculture, fishery, and also the NGO professionals and journalists who are working on environmental activities. And also definitely that government officials. And during the focus group discussions and the workshops, actually, I'm trying to facilitate the discussions by introducing by asking questions like, what are the important factors in their livelihood, and how these factors are interlinked to each other, and is there any causality or feedback within the system. But also, I'm asking to the farmers, fishermen, and stream farmers and forest people that about their choice of adaptation choice. For example, if there will be more stream farming, and because we know there's a conflict between rice production and stream, in which will be the move towards more labor work, or will they move to any other place or any other occupations? So that's sort of things I'm trying to ask, and I'm going to get answer from them. Well, I focus on discussions and workshops being led. So when I will get back to Bangladesh, I will finish all those focus group discussions. But I have already in Kumla, Borishal, and Purtuakhali region. So let's talk more about what I have done with this. Well, as Herman said, I have an inception meeting at my bigger institution and Dhaka, and then I had also presentation in ACDs and writing workshops by Herman and Mani were present, and it's about our system dynamic modeling, and also I included this project on distribution modeling funded by Sandy PhD Dissertation Support Fund. More on, I had you can see some of the pictures from the focus group discussions where farmers and fishermen trying to draw the causal loop, trying to identify the factors, the causalities, the interlinkages between each of the variables. And some of the pictures like from Borishal and Bogna, where my research assistants are helping them because they cannot write, they cannot draw anything. So they were helping them. Some pictures, these are from the workshops in Purtuakhali and Kumla, because this is the experts workshops where different experts from top officials, university people, academicians, NGO people were present, and you can see at the platform one of the participants is presenting their work because there was a discussion and feedback session that we can revise the two groups' conceptual framework. What's next? I will go back to Bangladesh on 10th of August. Then we'll continue my feedback unfinished PhD, and then I will have a conceptual system based on this PhD and workshop, based on workshop and PhD, and then I will compare with my conceptual framework that I have already developed using the statistical analysis. And then after revising, a final conceptual framework will be put into the system dynamic model to simulate up to 30 years. To see how the ecosystem service and human well-being will be featured, and will there be tipping points, or it will cross any set opportunities for Bangladesh Delta. And most importantly, I will also be testing different types. For example, if there is a more reductions in water discharge from the northern part of the country, what happens if you chop down half of the amount of forest, or you have more stream farming, or we have more technological development, and we have more progress in rice production. So this kind of actions, this kind of different policy implications will be one of the main part of my final work. So expected outputs, definitely we'll be able to understand the social ecological system in Bangladesh Delta. And as I say, I will be testing different hypotheses, so it can give a policy implications for managing social ecological system. And as we are using system boundary models, so it will be a kind of tool for regional scale ecosystem management. Well, in terms of the output, also I will be introducing a standing working paper, which is basically the using the HGD and focus HGD and the workshops for this participatory modeling of conceptual system dynamic model. But also there will be journal articles, which is basically my final journal article about you, which includes this fieldwork data plus the simulation using the system learning model plus the previous 2.5 years work that I have done. So in that one, I will definitely have a highly acknowledged, will be highly acknowledged to Sandy for the PhD dissertation support fund, and he can and basically for hosting me in Bangladesh. Thanks to my funding agency, and a special thanks to Sandy. Thank you everyone. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Server. Now, in terms of ONU, in the modality, we have we can go for all three presentations one by one, and then we have about 10 minutes of discussion. Shall we go in that way? Because I know 7 o'clock is your tipping time. Yeah. So.
And then I can.
Okay. So maybe I then request Tawhid from Canada, who is next one in the line to present his. Tawhid, you are ready? Yes. Yes.
Can I ask a quick question before we go to Tawhid?
Okay.
Just to you.
Yes.
The question is quick. I have a couple of questions for Sarwar. I don't think he needs to answer them now, but maybe I should just ask them, and then I don't even know if I'll be around to the end.
Sure. I think you should go ahead. Don't worry. I think you should go ahead.
And then just hold the response.
Okay, Sarwar, just note these questions. Plus, for everyone, we are also on live on YouTube, so you will have the full recorded version of this thing, even if you cannot note it properly. Okay. Priya, go ahead.
So, yeah, so a good presentation. Very interesting. I think what would be, I have so many questions, but we won't be able to resolve them yet. But I think a couple of issues that I'd like to get some responses on. One is, do you have any hunches of what these tipping points may be? Because you've already been out in the field, and so just a sense of if there are any, what are they likely to be? Second is, you said that there were some hypotheses that you were testing. So what might those be? You're talking to a bunch of economists, and we generally tend to ask, well, what's changing, and in terms of either drivers or policies, and so what's the lever that we can use to make things a bit better? So are there some specific hypotheses that have a policy angle to it, or have a management angle to it? So if you tweak a situation, could result in a positive change either for the community or for the ecosystem itself. So I just want to get some sense of these hypotheses and what management of policy. And then the third issue, which I don't understand, is what you mean by all this system dynamic modeling. Is this a particular geographic model or some sort of computer programming model? Thank you.
Tawhid, you can, so not Tawhid, Sarwar, if you can quickly respond, possible. I think, but
there are big questions.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Keep these questions in mind, Tawhid, Sarwar. Maybe you can just send a note to Priya and all of us just to clarify some issues. It might help. Let's go back to Tawhid. You are ready?
Yes, so how thank you very much for giving the opportunity.
Go ahead.
Can you see my slides?
We're waiting for it. Screen share. Do the screen share.
Present, I might be into research. I'm looking into the model.
Sorry, the slides. Sorry.
That's all right. It's all right. I'm sorry. I'm looking into the library vulnerabilities and resilience to climate change and also suffering of this. Bangladesh is one of the most climate vulnerable countries. And most of the people of this country, both in the mainly developed areas, and depend on natural resources for the landholder communities and unsuccessful communities. And different participants of some parts, but approximately lots of that in general is highly understudied hardness after fencing. And I'm combining
Google download the assessment.
So finding system is psychological system. And we know that system other community members, rights, resources of the livelihood. But when the climate spaces interact with their livelihood activities, that makes it more complicated. And for my research, I'm observing the community as the group of people who actually extract resources from certain environments. And I'm perceiving the ecological system as a complex anarchic system, because complex anarchic system is a kind of system that goes beyond the conventional leadership and approach, and it more in-depth the ideas and variables. And also, I'm doing complex anarchic system dealing with the complexity and like the process and capture different parts of different things that are going on around the system, especially, and social ecological system in complex anarchic system have few kind of similarities between them, like dynamic interaction, non-linear interaction, processes, and these sort of things. As I'm dealing with vulnerability and resilience, before going deeper into my presentation, it's important to define what we mean by vulnerability and resilience. Vulnerability, as defined by IPCC, is one kind of propensity of the system elements to be exposed in the climate spaces. Therefore, vulnerability is observed as a function of exposure, sensitivity, and capacity. On the other hand, resilience is observed as the capacity of a system to absorb the shocks, like stresses, in climate spaces, and therefore it is also observed as the function of adaptive capacity and adaptive change. So finally, we see that adaptive capacity and, is the common ground in vulnerability and resilience. Although these two concepts are not simultaneously studied, mostly, and researchers often say that these two ideas are just the flip side of a coin, that is the opposite of each other. To conduct the research, I'm combining three broad research frameworks with my conceptual framework: the vulnerability assessment framework, sustainable livelihood framework, and health framework. Vulnerability framework, as stated earlier, is the function of exposure, sensitivity, and capacity, where the exposure is the frequency, extent, nature of different kinds of spaces, along with social features. On the other hand, sensitivity is the degree to which a system is exposed or affected, either positively or negatively by different kinds of spaces. On the other hand, adaptive capacity is the capacity to address these kind of spaces, organize in a constructive way, and also to create some kind of adaptive responses to that kind of problems. And that is how vulnerability is usually perceived. And the adaptive framework considers that to understand the ability of any community to survive have historical responses to climate disturbances, and capital assets, exogenous and endogenous properties of the communities also provides criteria for assessing the sustainability. And finally, the benefit framework. This is actually a metaphorical idea of studying complex anarchic system, because it presumes that every system goes through 4 different phases, and as social ecological system is considered as a complex anarchic system. So in the case of social ecological system, we can absolutely think this adaptive framework, which is also known as adaptive loops. And this adaptive loop at the very beginning, the arc phase, also known as exploitation phase, every system exploits energy or resources. And after that, the system moves to another phase. This is called the conservation phase, the stabilization phase. In this phase, usually in the stable system, the accumulated energy and resources are binding up or either settling down. And so they go from a scale phase. And when this kind of resources are accumulated, we can say that the system is stable. But when it encounters some kind of changes, and in this phase, really omega phase or the release phase. this space was known as the space of destruction. And once it crosses this phase, it moves to another phase that is called the outer phase, also known as real-time phase. In this phase, the system usually, after a short theory analysis, creates new kind of distraction, revises previous experiences, and creates new opportunities. Here, if the threshold level of the system is exceeded by the spaces that the system needs to have a view, that is the light premium that it doesn't have. The system is stable enough to make it survival against the spaces, then it will again go to the subsequent phase or remain in the same mood. It will not go down. That is also known as negative feedback system. On the other hand, this will just take into another kind of mixing. This is also known as positive feedback. So the advantage of seeing this analytic framework is that it can interact with spatial and temporal variability. And it's saying that in case of small systems, small subsystems like household as a small subsystem, it can, if it's quite changes rapidly and it's not very much tolerant, and any kind of stresses may significantly influence the stability of this subsystem. And on the other hand, the upper levels or the upper states are most large and they will not change in very rapid fashion. But because like houses simultaneously allows
quality
can affect the stability of this house community. And if community itself is vulnerable and the whole nation or state, this type of interaction is called remote interaction. On the other hand, the system may get some kind of for example, if large number of households are this kind of interaction is never interaction. So combining all these three frameworks, I do not mind conceptual frameworks, also under construction, but I have shown you that how I do. So when a system exploits resources, then one question may arise that what kind of factors significantly influence the exploitation of resources, capitals. And this kind of capitals may be social capital, human capital, manufacturing capital, financial capital, natural capital. Now, the nature, extent, and the features of this kind of factors may also be considered as the exposure. That is, the definition of exposure interacts with the exploitation of resources. On the other hand, in case of conservation, when system stabilize the accumulated capitals, in that case, one person what factors actually affect this stabilization process. That is what unstable or sensitized. So we sense that conservation and sensitivity. Again, in giving space, we know that the is released by the system at a certain point. But the if this release of resources because the system tries to regulate the resource use before our process, which is also known as the capital system. So release and capacity are exactly similarly reorganization and adaptive change are just like the similar term. So we see that the dynamic assessment framework and the penalty framework are interacting with each other, while this interaction is established by the sustainable framework. Based on this conceptual framework, my research objective is to observe the vulnerability and resilience of the community through different spaces, that will be more something about this. Using the systematic framework that I've shown before, and also will assess the vulnerability and resilience in different kind of criteria set that will inform us how we can understand about the whole process of vulnerability resilience, which is relevant for policymakers, researchers, and practitioners. So, therefore, I have four specific research questions. First of all, I'm going to explore what kind of criteria are important for assessing the vulnerability of a particular case study area or the study area. And the second research question is to understand the external sensitivity factors that are affecting or creating or vulnerability in the research setting. And hence, I will explore the question related to analytic capacity, how renewable capital assets, local institutional factors are interacting with dynamic spaces, and how these things are encountered by each other. And finally, how the formal institutional process is contributing to the active responsibility in these spaces. So I'm going to use multiple case study approach with technique. Multiple case study approach is especially applicable in this study area because this kind of technique, although it's not generalization in the research process, and the database research that gives you a in-depth understanding for a particular study, and it can also generate locally relevant knowledge for scientific exploration and understanding. On the other hand, descriptive research technique combines both qualitative and quantitative data collection technique and analysis, and it also gives methodological overlap with each other, which is helpful for triangulation and research validation. I can collect my data from two largest and most important reference systems of the computational platform known as Academy Hall and Tango Hall. These two wetlands are designated as environmentally critical areas that are environment. And among them, Tango Hall is also known as the Ramsar site because of its ecological importance. And it is also important to notice that these community members are poor and they are powerless until marginalized by different social and political reasons. And this system is a kind of related system as well as inclusive high rainfall detection and also after local sensitivity is high, which are actually creating some kind of exposure to these people. For my first research question, I will develop on the criteria set for the assessment of vulnerability resilience. This criteria set will be developed using a participatory research approach and involve local leaders, local government officials, environment officials, as well as library representative groups. Here I have listed some approaches that number of the number of people who will be used in this research process. And this collected data will be analyzed using a analytical hierarchy approach process. This process is useful particularly for ranking data because we need to know which criteria is more important than other. And finally, it will generate some weight for each of the criteria and those things is the answer which factors we need to consider.
No, I'm just presented.
And these are the things.
Yeah, on this screen there are pictures তখন এই জিনিস
complex and it's difficult to make
screen the light image
and that's why it's also time consuming. For my second research question, I will use secondary and primary data. Secondary data will be available from meteorological organization. They will provide me some local climatic data, historical data about climatic variables like rainfall, ultraviolet temperature, flood level, water level, water flow level. This kind of information will be given from meteorological organization. On the other hand, lively related data like agriculture, fisheries, livestock, activities, all this information will be collected from Bureau statistics. And the Department of Bangladesh and the NGOs will also provide some kind of information related to issues. And this data analysis will use statistical techniques like time series analysis to understand the historical trend in this particular area. And the qualitative data will be analyzed with generalized approach. This approach provides a framework of training that creates the interaction or relationship among variables, and that's why we integrate us the whole process of this necessary for qualitative analysis. And primary data will be collected from household survey process. Hakati Hall is formed by 4 districts, sorry, 3 districts, and there are 4 sub-districts bordering this wetland, and there are 8 unions, which is the lowest administrative unit of the market, the territory of this process. I will select 1 representative village for each of the unions, and I cover 20% households on the survey process. And from my previous observation, this village size and usually 100 households. So, and again, for Tangular house, this is bordered by 4 communities, 2 sub-districts of the district. And I will also select 1 representative village for each of the units. And again, I will cover these households. And this is why approximately 360 households will be surveyed. That may be some ups and downs in this survey process. And this available data that are collected data will be analyzed using some kind of statistical techniques like regression analysis, regression analysis, survival analysis, and also univariate and multivariate statistics will be used for explaining how statistics. For my third research question, I will use first the collection technique and focus group discussion and techniques. Focus group will be specifically involve specifically selected participants. This will have this focus group members will be derived from community members, politicians, local leaders, government officials, non-governmental officials, and each focus group will comprise 8 to 10 members, and this is inside the focus group, and that will be conducted on our. And these open interviews also will be selected purposely with senior and local government officials in select with an election technique. 7 or 8 semi-structured research questions will be asked, and then the available data will then be analyzed using the 7 technique, and then we have methods once again be employed for analysis. Also, I will analyze visual analysis, which is necessary. Finally, analysis will be conducted with some of the students later to understand how environment
Stop sharing
and use scientific papers or peer-reviewed articles for that kind of analysis, because usually this kind of studies are unbiased, while environment documents or other documents are usually subjected to some kind of scientific analysis of the basic problem. And institutional and technological reform will be studied using a graphic approach on this large set of data, quantitative, and then this observations in this size. So there may be some kind of challenges that I will encounter with governance bias, non-response bias, interviewer bias, or response bias, confirmation and problem bias. So to deal with these kind of challenges, I will try to gather as much information as available. I will first of all interact with the office so that I can give this households. Also, rapport building, because I've been working there for 5 years, so I have a good understanding of the social system. That will help to avoid some response bias. And also, cross-checking and structuring methodological validation can also be checked for the avoid confirmation and confirmation. And so far, I have completed the preliminary analysis. And a paper has been written and also submitted to 7 for publication. And I also have collected all necessary secondary information from the field. And the funding that I have received from SANDI and SED will be very much helpful for different purposes. First of all, financial support is the basic necessity for a researcher to do the field research. And SED is providing a research station for me, which is very much helpful for my research, because I can easily interact with local people when it's necessary. And I'm expecting that I will get some kind of from local scientists and people who are more concerned about the problems that will help you a lot to come up with lots of problems that probably I will encounter when I collect and analyze the data from the PhD. I expect that generally applicable framework will be generated from this study, which will be applicable for different civil studies across the world, and also a systematic description of vulnerability and resilience will be generated in this research for the office of campaign, which will be contribution for local national policy and practitioners. And all the research process will be validated ethically by the research ethics board of Nike University, and all the anonymity will be ensured for all the respondents in my research process. This is the alternative timeline of research. And for courtesy, and thanks a lot for listening to my presentation. And I will be happy to get some kind of response from you so that you can research. Thank you.
Thank you, Tawhid. If there are, this is also for everyone that this is also the first time I'm hearing his presentation. I know Tawhid, once he comes back, he needs to formally present a seminar in his host institution, which is Metropolitan University. But anyway, if quick questions from anyone?
Now, can I ask a couple for him to answer later?
Yes, Tawhid, please note.
Well, I was curious about the fact that you have two cores. You're looking at two study areas, two different vetting systems. And I was wondering if there were some critically different institutional aspects to these two systems that could be understood better by critically looking at this difference. If your study might be able to give some insights into why, say, one system is better managed than another system, if indeed that is happening. So I guess I'd like you to think a little bit more about the local institutions there, and whether, because you have two case study areas, is there something that you can methodologically exploit to be able to answer a local question on management? So that's just something. And then more clarificatory question was, and then understand what you meant by adaptive capacity, and whether you have a clear definition of what that is, and that seems to be kind of super on your key opinion pages, but I don't know what that means. So later on, perhaps you can use that.
Thank you, Priya. That's Tawhid, just to add to this, what Priya has mentioned, I'm just giving you that because Hakaluki and Tanguar, the two areas, are in two different regimes. Tanguar is a Ramsar site. No, what you call commercial harvest is allowed in Tanguar. Leasing of land, water bodies for fishing is not allowed. Whereas in Hakaluki, these are all there. So I think you should look into the aspect that Priya has just mentioned. It's quite interesting. That's what I mentioned, that I think when you present it in Sylhet or in your institution, we can, help you on doing this. But I think there is an opportunity for doing it. I think we have time shortage, so let us go to Ranju. Ranju, you are there?
Hi, yes, I'm here.
Okay, you can start presenting. And I realize that most of you are not sharing your screen. So I am actually presenting or showing the presentation. So just hold on. I think I'm going to upload it and show it to everyone. Okay, just a second. Okay, I'm just sharing the screen now, and this is Ranju's presentation. If you can see it on, yeah, if you see it, you start. Okay. And if you ask me to change this slide, I will change it.
Yeah. All right. Hi everyone, I think you already knew my name, Ranju. Just I'd like to add the two supervisors that she was there supervising me. One is Dr. Natasha Sachi. She is Senior Research Fellow in Rio Research Institute for Environmental Factors of Georgetown University. And another supervisor, Dr. Terry Sunderland, and he's a principal scientist based in Center for International Forest Research, headquartered in Indonesia. Okay. First of all, to share my background, my PhD research thesis, actually what are the context that I have chosen these research aims, objectives, and then I have a discussion about where I am and what's my next working plan. First of all, I'd like to discuss about the context of forests and livelihoods that are based on global information availability of studies that actually shows that forests and tree-based ecosystems are widely used for mostly plant foods and animal foods. You will see here the table that indicates that plant foods, a wide range of plant foods that are consumed in Asia and Oceanian countries, and mostly animal-based foods are consumed in African countries. And these two types of foods, either plant foods or animal foods, are important as highly nutrient-rich food. Fuel is one of the cheapest sources of energy. Actually, this is used mostly by rural households. Almost 800 million people across the world are using this fuel. And actually, this is helping them to cook, boil water, and also to safeguard them from different waterborne diseases. And these are really crucial resources of forest and tree uses, important for rural households in developing and least developed countries. And this is another scenario of forest and trees contribution in terms of economic activities. You'll see here almost 54 million people in the world are benefiting from forest and tree uses. And this is, despite the fact that this is only 1.1% of global economy, actually there is limited availability of information on informal economy that is generated from non-timber forest product collection and also in different employment activities that are related to these non-timber forest products. While there are different ranges of forest and tree uses in households, but there are also some other indirect services that actually forest and trees are contributing. You see here there is a table that actually a farm or local, if you consider household as a very primary unit, actually are using the range of forests or trees. But at the same time, if you just see here that forests and trees are also benefiting not only to local or households, but also it contributes to landscapes through pollination services and also corridor for different species that are benefiting for their shelter from one side to other. And also you see there are other services like natural pest control, soil formation, water regulation. And obviously, at global scale, forest and trees are widely recognized for its contribution to reduce carbon dioxide emission, and this is one of the challenges for the world to mitigate climate change risk. And also there are contribution of genetic biodiversity. Obviously, this is recognized at global scale for different biodiversity hotspot conservation across the world. And you will see here that people in the world, like almost 1.2 billion people, actually, they are maintaining trees and crops apart from forest to increase their food production in agroforestry system. And agroforestry system is a combination of forest and tree uses with agricultural systems. While forests are important, obviously including tree outside forest, there are lots of studies that recognize. One of the studies conducted by C4 that actually I have mentioned here, they have a global comparative study on poverty and environment network, under poverty and environment network to assess forest contribution to local socio-economic aspect. And this is really significant that often forest contribution are not considered or this is neglected. Once forests are used for rural livelihood systems, despite the fact there are deforestation, this is one of the challenges in mostly developing and least developed countries which are connected to tropical forest landscapes. And obviously when forests are using, people are using forest and trees, and also they are depending on different agricultural systems that are somehow related to forest landscape. If you just consider shifting cultivation, this is one of the traditional, or you can say primitive kind of land use systems. These are mostly recognized. Sometimes there are debates of these land use systems in forest landscapes. Anyway, this forest and shifting cultivation of different land uses that are subsidized by government and also some multinational companies or international. There are different incentives that also trigger this agricultural land use conversion by clearing forests. So one of the challenges that comes across the global scale is that how forests and different land uses that are maintained or used or historically evolved, and how is it managed, and what are the contribution of managing these forest and different land uses at landscape scale, rather than only focusing on forest and tree use at household scale. And there is another challenge in scholarly areas that whether we should focus on intensive or extensive land uses to conserve forest resources at the same time to improve food security or food production capacity of the rural community. But there are also limitations whether if someone considers intensive farming or intensive land use, there are also limitations in terms of more profit-oriented approach that comes in the mindset of local people who are depending on agricultural farming. They can clear more forest lands. And though intensive farming system, they focus that it will spare more lands for forest conservation as well as agricultural biodiversity. But there are also limitations in this intensive or land sparing systems. Third, scholarly views that focuses on extensive land use or even land sharing in forest lands. And they actually focus that this is not really pragmatic to focus on intensive approach, rather than people are managing forest and trees at landscape scale rather than, because production and conservation is not restricted to one fragmented or one size of land unit, rather than this is distributed at landscape. Because forests and trees contribute to a range of ecosystem services that are not defined only within a small environment. This debates about forest uses and other land use systems at forest landscape, mostly to sustain forest and tree uses at landscape scale. But there are questions that how people really access, who are the beneficiaries, and how they access to this forest and other land tenure or land rights. So these are another focus of global studies, that while we are considering sustainable forest uses, we are considering better land uses to restore ecosystems, to conserve forests and other agrobiodiversity. But at the same time, we have to understand who will be the beneficiary and how we can secure their rights to these forests and different land use systems. And here you will see this is the forest context in Bangladesh. Bangladesh is one of the first countries in South Asian region. And we have only 2.52 million hectares of forest, despite we have a densely populated population. So this is one of the challenges for Bangladesh to maintain forest resources against this ever-increasing population. And you see that there are major three types of forests here. I just provided an arrow, just salt forest. You see in the middle. Actually, this is it has been deforested in the last century, so this is only a tiny amount of forest. And you'll see a hill forest. You'll see this is distributed in southeast region and also north east region. You'll see here, and we have obviously natural mangroves. You'll see southwest region. Forests are really contributing to the livelihoods of rural population in Bangladesh. Almost 2/3 of the population live in Bangladesh, or at least they are using forest and different tea products in their seasonal or regular diets, as well as income generation. You'll see there is a range of forest products. Mostly forest foods or tea foods are used as subsistence, mostly consumed for their own foods. But wood fuel, actually, this is one of the significant use forest products, and this is also used as household level. Also, there is a contribution for income, and timber, it has major contribution for income generation. There's a range of non-timber forest products. You'll see bamboo, honey, catching plants, and also different grass herbs. So these are somehow benefiting for subsistence or direct uses, as well as some sort of income generation to a certain extent. And actually, we summarize this based on some literatures that identified different forest and tree uses in rural livelihood systems. Significantly, to some extent, forest contribution to national economy is not really updated. Chitopilitex Southeast is a unique landscape in Bangladesh. This is unique in terms of its geographical characteristics. At the same time, this is unique in terms of its cultural identity. There are 12 different ethnic groups are living in this Chitopilitex region, and they have different languages. And one of the particular characteristics of these different ethnic groups who are living in this region for the centuries, actually their livelihoods are mostly connected to either forest or agricultural land uses. This is really different. Actually, they are depending much more on forest. And compared to the per capita forest uses in based on 0.0 acre something, but in this region they have more per capita forest is almost 0.8 something. You see that actually they have forests, and they have two different types of tree farming. One and other is shifting cultivation. Globally, this is also recognized as student cultivation. So there are two major forms of land uses in this landscape, and forest resources in this region covers almost 43% of the total forest areas in the country. And there are some pictures that actually people use, local ethnic people use for their forest food or tree foods. You can see there. And also, actually, this picture shows that actually they are really connected to forest and tree uses, not only for their livelihood. This is a part of their culture too. This is a part of their lifestyle. And obviously, forest contributes to the provision of resources, food, fuel, fiber, and also they're using other ecosystem services. Like you see here, the third picture, the downside picture. Most of the people, almost 2/3 people in this region, they are collecting their mostly used fish water for either drinking or for their household other uses. They're depending on forests for their water collection. And actually, this is significant in this region. Apart from forest use, actually, there are 3 types of land uses. You'll see here just on the side, there is traditional shifting cultivation. This is still used, but to some extent, this sort of shifting cultivation is modified to sort of mixed agroforestry system in the last 2 or 3 decades. And the downside picture shows they have also plainland agriculture. So mostly for agricultural production, now they are using shifting cultivation for also plainland agriculture. But once upon a time, even until the 18th in last century, actually, they were mostly dependent on traditional shifting cultivation, but they have modified to practice forms of food production due to soil erosion, and also there are some incentives from other development agencies who are supporting to improve their land use systems. Because shifting cultivation is considered to some extent that it increases soil erosion. Also, there are less soil fertility. So there are some debates in terms of shifting cultivations, productivity, advantages and disadvantages in this landscape. Well, they're using forests and other agricultural land uses for their traditional livelihoods, food production, and some other ecosystem services. But during the last century, actually, this region has a tremendous forest loss, and there is no account or there is no estimation on how much biodiversity actually lost, and what of the reduction of some other essential ecosystem services related to this forest and land uses. You can see here in the picture, just marked with this red rectangle. You can see here that collected from FAO from the pen paper, still hill forest in kilometers region where it is located. Still, there is a decrease of natural forest, but there is no estimation of how much forest is increasing in this region. But there are challenges of improving forest and land use. But at the same time, there is another problem with existing forest and land use. Because government owns almost 70% of lands in this region, and actually, this 70% of total lands in this region cover mostly forest and also agricultural land. So, what happens once people are not getting access to, or they are not secure in terms of their land right, either forest or traditional agriculture? So somehow it impacts their livelihoods, food production, and also there are debates that due to their insecure tenure, due to government imposed institutional arrangement, there is much more deforestation, as there is no tenure. Due to these challenges in terms of forest and land uses, in the last 3 decades, government tried to intensify land uses through initiating some cash crop and also to improve their fruit and tree plantation practices. One of the main aspects of this intensification of land uses was that it will restore more ecosystem services, as traditional shifting cultivation has negative effects on overall environment. So the main focus of this intensification of land use was to improve their food production. At the same time, they can harvest their foods not only for annual scale but also temporal scale, like perennial, and also like tree plantation that can generate much more revenue. But while this plantation this is still in evolving stage, and there's some studies that actually provided information that this plantation has increased food production, but there is also limitation in terms of understanding whether this food production is really equitable, or because there is a question of tenure security. While government is trying to provide tenure right to certain group of people, but still a significant number of people are still out of land tenure rights. So what happens? They have also some traditional institutions. So there are two institutional settings in this region that is not really available in other parts of the country. One is formal, based on government institutional settings, and also there is a traditional institutional settings. Actually, in this region, there are three circles in terms of traditional institutional and three circles they call. Each circle they have one king, so there are three kings, and so side by side there are two types of institutional settings, and to some extent these institutional settings give also complexities in understanding people's forest and land uses, and also their rights. And actually, there is also limitation in understanding how security can also improve their conservation of forest resources and also ecosystem services.
Ranju,
because government owns almost 70%.
Ranju, you have 5 minutes.
Government has almost 70% of forest ownership, but still community also manages sort of their own forest, community forest. So there is still lacking understanding whether government forest contributes to deforestation, or still community are able to reduce deforestation and also improve their food production. So the important thing for my research is to understand what are the relative benefits of forest and use in terms of the ecosystem information services. And actually, this is important to understand how actually they are using historically. And also at landscapes. Actually, I will come because I have limited time, because I have also conceptual understanding of landscapes and why it comes. And that is also essential to understand what sort of transition is now happening in this dynamic landscape in terms of food production and obviously the outcomes of government and other development agency approaches, whether it increases the food production and how it benefits land use and overall ecosystem services at landscape scale. So the research of my PhD research is to examine livelihoods and conservation implications of forest and land uses, different land uses, multifunctional landscape of this region. And I have four objectives. Firstly, relative benefits. I will try to assess the relative benefits of forest and uses apart from other land uses. Not just livelihood outcomes due to different land uses in the last 3 days. And obviously, there are some other relationships I try to examine due to this land use changes, and also some other institutional supports what happens for livelihoods, whether it improves or whether it really contributes to conservation, whether deforestation is reduced. So I will try to understand this relationship. And finally, I will try to develop some studies, obviously it will be used to policy how different livelihood issues and conservation space can be integrated at landscape scale. And the overall research questions here at and the two conceptual one sustainable livelihood approach actually it has also limitations. And for sustainable livelihood approach, I will use asset and institutional relationships that mediate people's access to forest and other land uses. And landscape approach actually is still emerging approach. So I have opportunity to contribute this landscape approach. Why I'm using this because it addresses the diversity of land uses rather than focusing on like defined government forest lands or government forest territory. How people manage forests not only for their food production, also to maintain ecosystem services in some other traditional systems. And obviously, landscape approach not only focus on, you will see here the picture that actually it focuses obviously spatial scale, local to national, and also at the same time it focuses temporal scale for the historical changes of forest and land uses in this landscape. That actually provide enough grounds to develop some land use scenarios for this landscape. And I have use these data collection tools. Mostly household service for 300 households, and I have farm service focus group on specific topics, strategic evaluation exercises, data checks, farming technology. I have informative interviews for government and youth scientists, actually who are expert in this region for the last 8-10 years. So I will have some interviews, and obviously focus groups will come from government. And also it will form a group of people who are working in government and research organizations, mostly focusing on this region. And I have some land use and forest cover map analysis with the help of GIS software. And I have data analysis through discourse analysis, mostly for qualitative data, and SPSS for quantitative analysis, and I have also GIS software for remote sensing image analysis. And today, actually, I have selected a landscape because this is really challenging to decide a landscape which shows a transition, which shows the changes of forest cover and agricultural land use. I mean, how people's dependency on forest and agriculture is changing. So, I mean, I have to select a land use variant. So this is really challenging. So I have to spend with you at least 1 month. In May, actually, I was in field to interview government and also government staff, and also to visit 3 districts of this region. So somehow I have to understand what are the changes happening, what are the, like, you will find that 3 land use zones have been selected based on this following criteria: agricultural modifications, like from subsistence to more cash crop oriented land use, and forest cover, I mean, from natural forest to some other fragmented forest, disturbed forest, or kind of home garden agroforestry, and dependence, obviously dependence on forest products like. And you see here that actually study sites here. You see here, like, there is zone 1, zone 2, and zone 3. Zone 1 is actually based on mostly they are really remote, and obviously they have not good access to market, but they are highly depending on forest resources. Actually, you see here the green shade, and it indicates there is a government reserve forest. So they are living still subsistence level, and then you see zone 2. This is bit modified. People are trying to change. They have also moderate access to market and good transport system. And you see here zone 3. Obviously, this region has much more cash crop oriented, because compared to these 2 regions, these 2 zones, zone 3, they have much more cash crop practices, and also they have less dependency on forest. So actually, I decided these 3 zones at landscape just to see how people's dependency on forest and land changes, and how it really contributes to food security and conservation. And today, actually, I just finished pilot survey, scoping survey, and I had still to do a lot of things. Obviously, it's household survey, land use survey, but this time, actually, this is really difficult to get in this region, because initially I mentioned you that actually these regions have very unique culture and they have very different languages. So what happens when I go in one place, like you see, when I go in zone 1, obviously they have one sort of language. So I have one kind of research team who are familiar with this language. When we come to zone 2, they have other language because there are other ethnicity. But obviously there is no much more changes in terms of elevation, land use. But in terms of ethnicity,
Ranju,
yeah, okay.
You have crossed the time.
Yes.
You should have been careful.
Thanks.
Thank you. I think. Okay, so you have to spend more time than what is required. Okay, I think if you can just summarize in brief your current progress again. The Nepal team did not hear you properly.
Last 2 minutes.
Can you just last 2 minutes just summarize what you are working on in terms of the support and other things, progress? That's all. Can you do this just in a minute?
Yeah. Actually, just I finished my landscape selection. That is, you see here that I've selected study zone where I will conduct my household survey and farm survey, focus group, other things. So I have decided landscape. There is a feature for my study. I finished it, and my next plan is to conduct these surveys in next few months, mostly after September. And obviously, this is really a good contribution from Sandy because as I am coming back from Australia, so at that time, actually, I was restricted to a few questions. But when I got this opportunity to have fun under Sandy, and actually, this is really significant to extend one of my first questions, that is in terms of forest and tenure security access. And so, hopefully, I'm trying to write one chapter based on my preliminary data collection, not even though I haven't collected much. So this is really good that actually Sandy provided this opportunity. So I'm now trying to think to write a chapter on forest tenure. This is mostly for environment conservation. This is published under Cambridge University. So this is one of the things that actually I'm progressing at this stage. And finally, it's really good that I have local host DCS, and actually this is essential. And I understand that they have some research expertise, and also they know someone who are working in this region. So it helps me to find some good networks.
Thank you very much. I understand that we are almost close to the time limit because Nepal group has another appointment. Within 15 minutes they have to leave. Now, just to summarize again, Ronju has started very recently, and he has been hosted by Bangladesh Center for Advanced Studies, which is an organization that works on climate change and environmental issues. Sarwar is hosted by ICAD, which is International Center for Climate Change and Development. And Tawheed is hosted by Metropolitan University, which is in his field location. Once again, if you look at I think there was a map of forestry in Bangladesh, and you have seen that there are 3 major forests, and somehow, except for the middle one, which is near Dhaka, they are covering most of it. So they're covering the Ronju is studying on the southeastern side. Tawheed is covering not a forest, it's a wetland in the northeastern side. And Sarwar is mostly in the mangrove forest. Onu, floor is yours from your side.
So, I actually have one question to all 3 presenters. It's not a question, actually, it's a suggestion. After hearing all 3, I'm not still clear about, what's the contribution of your respective study in the larger literature? The best their contribution, meaning the context, larger literature. What would be the main contribution of these 3 studies? So that should be highlighted in the paper. And number 2 is what they present. The research question came at the end, and I almost at the end after 20 minutes. So I think it should be placed at the beginning so that people like us who is hearing know what we are trying to do. So much more information on the background, but it's just what you can add to me. So I think those are my suggestions when you present the next time.
Yeah, thank you. No, I think that's correct. How about Som?
Yes, I think these are all very interesting and important topics. So I'm I think I'm glad that Sandy has some involvement with this research, all of which I think is very interesting. I agree with Mani in terms of the expositional point that it would be better for you to put your research questions up front and then sort of set them in context. And also to provide a better, more clearer exposition where you fit into the literature. So yeah, I'm just basically echoing Mani's points. So all very interesting.
Okay. No, I think I agree. Go ahead. Hello. Just for everyone else, yes, sorry. Okay, let me come back here. I think for everyone else, just before we leave, our objective here is to understand what is happening, because even for me, except Sarwar's, I did not hear. I read the documents, but I did not listen to the presentation. This is the first time I'm also listening to it. I'm planning a full day workshop, probably either in Dhaka or outside, where we will ask a resource person and all of them to tell them the story clearly. Maybe once they come back, there's something in each host institution. They are all supposed to present a seminar. Only Sarwar has done it. The others have not done it yet, so I'm expecting them to do it, and there I will be there with also other people, so that we can give some help. I agree with also on the overall presentation that it should have been less on background. Maybe it's too much of a background, but the mail story, particularly the questions, how you are addressing the question, how is data or sampling is matching or providing the answer to the question. That kind of academic interaction or academic structure should have been clearly done. But I think that's possible, even though this is their first presentation, the next one they will do it. Other than that, if you have any specific comments, I think you can share it with me and I will pass it on them. I know Mani and Som have other appointments, so shall we call it a day? Priya has already left the meeting. She has told me that she has other appointments. Anything else? Oh no?
We are done, I think.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Ranju. Thank you, Tawhid. Thank you, Sarwar. Thank you, Heman, Mani, Onu, and Som. Thank you very much. And Rajesh.
Thank you, Nana.
এটা করে খুব মজা লাগলো স্যার জানি না কেন 6-7 জন একসাথে
তিন কত দেশে
আমার ধারণা বাংলাদেশিটা আপনি ছাড়া কি করে
মনে করছো
ঠিক আছে স্যার আমার তো ঘুম বন্ধ হয়ে গেছে কালকে প্রেজেন্টেশনের কথা